Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Hello friends, welcome to Ganesh IAS Academy. This is the new session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the previous year UPSC geography question. So in this session, we added a new feature which is about a prediction for the 2025 Prelims exam. So based on the previous year question analysis and also based on the current affair, we are guessing that these are the possible questions they may ask for the 2025 Prelims. So please make a note of it, that would be more useful for your upcoming Prelims exam. Let's begin the session. This question was asked in 2016. So it is the simplest question. In India, the steel production industries requires the import of. So here the keyword is steel production and also import. So first of all, you have to eliminate the statement based on the steel production. Which of the things that are related to the steel production? First thing is saltpeter and then the rock phosphate. These both the things are related to the fertilizers industry. Okay, so this both saltpeter and then the rock phosphate, both of things are related to the fertilizers industry. That is not even connected to the steel production. Okay, but saltpeter and the rock phosphate, both of the things are we are importing. So partially the statement is right. Okay, but when it comes to the steel production, this is not even related to the steel production. So it is not related to the steel production. So eliminate it. Then the answer is simply the coking coal. When it comes to India, India is having the plenty of availability of the coal. Okay, but the quality of the coal, that is the biggest question. So when it comes to the quality of the coal, we are not having the anthracites or a bituminous. Okay, so when we are having the quality of the coal, that is actually lignite and then the peat. So when it comes to these kinds of coals, which can't be used in the steel production, iron and steel production, so we need to import this coking coal. That is the major issues related to the iron and steel production, because the reason is when it comes to the iron and steel industry, it is called as a basic industry, because the reason is this iron and steel is going to be used in the manufacturing or else automobile, whatever it is, the iron and steel is going to play the vital role. So in that scenario, this iron and steel industry is become as a basic industry, but still we are dependent on the import of this coking coal. So there is a possibility of the simplest questions like this. So they may simply ask that which of the materials or which of the minerals that are more important for the manufacturing of this iron and steel. Simply they can ask that also. For example, for manufacturing iron and steel, you need iron ore, and then coking coal. Okay, along with you need a plenty of water supply. Okay, and also if you are making it to be a steel, means you have to add with manganese. You need limestone rocks. Okay, so these are the materials that are most important for the manufacturing of this iron and steel. So they may simply ask a question related to this also. Okay, for example, the availability of the limestone rocks. Okay, the availability of the manganese. So they may simply ask a question related to that also. So we are going to discuss that part in a prediction. When it comes to the availability of the iron ore, India is actually having a plenty of iron ore resources, and also it is of the ore of hematite and the magnetite. There is no issue. But when it comes to the coking coal, first of all, why we need the coking coal? That is the another important thing we need to discuss. So when it comes to the coking coal, the purpose is the coking coal is heated in the absence of air to produce the coke. So the coke reserves are the coke serves the three critical functions in the blast furnace. The first is it is acting as a fueling agent because the coal is going to burn. Okay, so in that way that is acting as a fueling agent. Next is it is acting as a reducing agent, which means in that iron ore there is the impurity of the oxygens. So if the impurity is in that making of the iron and steel means it will be porous. So the strength of that iron what we made is going to be reduced. So if the iron quality is going to be reduced means there will be the issue of any disaster. Man-made issues may be happen. So we need to reduce it. For that we are using this coking coal. So what it will do is react with the oxygens in the iron ore to remove it and leaving behind the pure molten iron. For that also we are using this iron ore. For that also we are using this coking coal. When it comes to the India's resources, the major challenge for India is India has limited reserve of the high quality coking coal. This is the major concern. Consequently, a significant portion of 85 to 90% of the India's coking coal requirement is met through the imports, primarily from the Australia, South Africa and the USA. So this is the major concern for India. I already said that why this iron and steel industry is called as a basic industry. So if you want to be strong in the manufacturing sector, when it comes to the India just jumped from the primary sector to the tertiary sector. Okay, so there is a huge gap created in the secondary sector, which is related to the manufacturing sector. So still there is the contribution made by the secondary sector, which is the manufacturing sector. Okay, contribution made by the manufacturing sector is very low. That is the major concern for the India. Okay, so if any people need to be accommodated in the tertiary sector means they need to be skilled one. But when it comes to the manufacturing sector, there is both the need of the skilled worker and also non-skilled worker can be accommodated in the secondary sector. So the major crisis that India is actually facing is the unemployment crisis. To overcome that thing, we need to accommodate every people in this secondary sector. Okay, so secondary sector need to be prioritized. So for the secondary sector need to be prioritized means we have to give the importance to this iron and steel industries. That is the most important one. For that, coking coal is one of the important contribution. The coking coal is going to give the important contribution in the manufacturing of this iron and steel. But we are still importing it. That is the major concern. Next is about the limestone. So the purpose of limestone is the calcium carbonate act as a fluxing agent. In the blast furnace, it combines with the impurities like silica, alumina and manganese oxides from the iron ore, ashes from the coke. This forms the molten material called as slag, which floats on the top of the molten iron and can be easily removed. It also helps in the purifying the iron. So the iron ore, it is going to contain many impurities. The one of the main impurity here is this manganese. Manganese is the one of the major impurities. Okay, so we have to remove it. So for that we need this limestone. It is act as a fluxing agent. Okay, so when it comes to coking coal, it is actually acting as a reducing agent. When it comes to the limestone, it is actually act as a fluxing agent. Okay, so please make a note. So when it comes to the India scenario, India has a sufficient resource of the limestone readily available from the states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and then Karnataka. And also please note that Andhra is the largest producer of this limestone rocks. Okay, so Andhra is playing the dominant role in the limestone. Next is about alloying it. So we are not only going to use iron as it is. Okay, we are going to use it as a steel. So that we are going to alloying it. So for that, what are the minerals we need to produce different grades of steel with the specific properties like strength, hardness corrosion resistant, ductility, various alloying elements are added. The first is manganese. Improve the strength, toughness and workability. Next is about a chromium. Enhances the hardness, strength, corrosion resistance in a stainless steels. And next is nickel. Improve the toughness, ductility and corrosion resistance. And when it comes to the molybdenum, increases the strength and the hardness at high temperature. And the last is the vanadium and the silicon and the copper, aluminum, boron, titanium used for various specific properties. So they may simply ask a question like, so for example, they may ask a question like, if the country have to construct the iron and steel industry, what are the minerals they are in need? So they may simply ask these kinds of questions, or else they may ask a question like whether the India is blessed with the vanadium. It is important or not. So in that way also they can make questions. So please make a note of it. And also another important thing is when it comes to manganese, for India, there is no independent manganese ore is there. Okay. So when you are extracting iron ore, okay, while extracting the iron ore, from that iron ore you are extracting iron. In that process, there will be the impurities of this manganese. That will be sourced and it will be used in the manufacturing of the iron and steel for the increasing the strength, toughness and the workability. That also the one of the important thing. Please make a note. Okay. So they may simply ask some of the factual questions based on this. Okay, what are the minerals are needed for the manufacturing of the iron and steel industry? They may simply ask these kinds of questions also, or else they can go for another questions like which state is dominant in the limestone? Okay, which state is actually producing the largest iron and steel? Okay, or else they may simply ask about Tisco, ISCOs, their headquarters, from which state is actually established, and with the collaboration of which country they established this. Okay, for example, when it comes to the ISCO, it is actually the collaboration of the Russia. So in that sense also they may ask a question. So these are the purely the factual questions. When it comes to the natural resources based question, okay, natural resources based question, it will be definitely a factual question. Okay, so there won't be any logical part you can apply it. So it is a purely factual question. So please make a note and also read the NCERT. And if there is any minerals that is in the news, then make a note of it. For example, tungsten. Tungsten is actually in the news related to the Tamil Nadu. So what is the ore of this tungsten? It's a schemite. So which state is the largest producer of this tungsten? And also what are the properties of the tungsten? So in that way you have to prepare. So there is a definite possibility for any question they may ask from the tungsten also. Okay, so please make a note of it. Thank you.